Rain pattered against the warm brick of 25 Cromwell Street as if the heavens themselves were mourning. Inside, silence clung to the air like dust, disturbed only by the occasional creak of wood or distant echo of passing footsteps. Time had slowed within those walls. Years had passed, but the horror hadn't aged. It only fermented. Fred sat at the kitchen table, staring at his own hands. Dirt-stained, calloused, steady. Hands that had built walls and buried truths. Across from him, Rose stood at the sink, watching him. She didn't speak. She never had to. Between them was a language of silence, a shared sickness disguised as loyalty. Fred looked up. "It's getting risky," he mumbled. Rose didn't turn. Her jaw tightened. "Then be careful." Their daughter, May, barely in her teens, walked in, eyes lowered. She avoided Fred's stare, but it still crawled over her like a shadow. She poured herself a drink. Her hands trembled slightly, but she said nothing. She knew. Not everything, but enough to understand fear. The kind of fear that becomes background noise when you live inside a house built on graves. Outside, the neighborhood bustled with everyday life. Children laughed, a dog barked, parents cooked dinners in safety and ignorance. But within the West home, something darker simmered, something beyond words or understanding. They had already claimed victims, vulnerable girls drawn into the web with promises of safety, shelter, or work. What they got was isolation, chains, and eventually silence. One of them, a young woman named Juanita, had disappeared without a trace. She had no family nearby, no one to notice her absence. She'd been quiet, polite, a perfect victim. Fred offered her a room. Rose offered her tea. The basement offered her a grave. She was never seen again. The system kept failing. Social workers came and went. Some questioned. Some felt uneasy, but nothing stuck. Fred was charming enough, if odd. Rose, blunt but calm. The kids? A little strange. But kids are resilient, they'd say. No evidence, no follow-up. Another forgotten file in another cabinet drawer. Then came Heather. She was different. Her eyes carried questions. She pushed back, whispered to friends at school, told someone what she suspected. Rumors surfaced. Whispers reached ears that had long since stopped listening. One day she simply vanished. Her parents told everyone she'd run away. But behind the locked doors of 25 Cromwell Street, her disappearance was part of a darker ritual. Fred, pacing in the garden after her burial, said to Rose, "She was going to talk." Rose, lighting a cigarette, said coldly, "Now she won't." The cracks in their fortress were growing, but slowly. Police had been to the house more than once. Reports of abuse, missing girls, but nothing stuck. They blended horror with routine, violence with domesticity. It made them invisible. It made them dangerous. Still, things were changing. One of the children, now older, began to question her memories. She remembered screams. Doors locked from the outside. Girls who came and never left. She began to speak, first quietly, then louder, and the world finally began to listen. Inside 25 Cromwell Street, Fred sharpened tools in the shed while Rose stared out the upstairs window. Their empire was cracking, and somewhere, just beyond the fog of denial and neglect, someone was preparing to open the door. The ghosts beneath the floorboards stirred. The truth was close, and this time, it wouldn't stay buried.